All right, we're back here on the show. We got David-Gharat joining us, and we were just talking about how the real estate guys are like rock stars these days.
They are. In fact, rock stars, like they're superstars, I should say.
They are superstars because there's so much money in real estate in Toronto these days. It's just such a busy market. It's like you just think it's going to slow down, and it just never slows down. There's so many cranes, the condos they're building. They're paving over half of southern Ontario just to build houses, and because everybody wants to live here.
Absolutely. People are coming out from... it's also what's happening with Toronto these days is we are seeing a lot of influx of immigrants coming in.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, we heard over the news that we are bringing in 250,000 to 300,000 new immigrants coming in to Canada. So I'm assuming that part of it, probably 65%, would be in Toronto.
Is that really it?
65? And then the other part would be Vancouver and other provinces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So based on the numbers, we seeing a pleasant growth, a good growth to Toronto, a diversity which comes through. And Toronto is diversity.
Yes.
And I love Toronto, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm a true Torontonian. That's what they say.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely to see all the cultures and people come in. So
yeah, absolutely. It's got to be the most diverse city on the planet.
I agree.
Like, for sure, right? Because, as you said, 65% of those 250,000 are coming to Toronto, and that's just on top of the 250,000 that came last year, and for the last 50 years, or actually probably going all the way back to the beginning. To the beginning,
yeah, absolutely. And Toronto is made of immigrants. That's why we see the Toronto market is still hot. It's in fact stabilizing now, however, still good.
Okay, so I don't know anything, so you're going to have to explain it all to me,
She's
David.
not even from Toronto.
So
David.
is it a buyer's market or a seller's market?
Both, I should say. It's more of a seller's market right now. Right now we are seeing less inventory in the market. So it is a seller's market. We can go out there, have a property up for sale, and it sells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just saw housing starts, though, in February were up over what they thought it was going to be in Canada.
Completely. And the weather has been with us this year.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We've had actually no winter, maybe a couple of storms here and there.
Because she's used to living in the forest in the winter in BC.
That's right.
So she brought the BC weather to Toronto this year.
So that, yeah, absolutely.
Except for a few cold days.
Some rain, maybe.
Yeah. So now, because people keep talking about the real estate market, and the government, of course, has been concerned about the fact that the price levels in the major cities have been going up and up and up. We didn't have the correction that they had in the U.S. in 2008, for example, and they're saying they've changed some policies recently to try to cool the market down a little bit. Now, what's your experience of that?
Real estate is real estate.
Yeah.
Property is property. There is no way one can go wrong in purchasing a property, whether it's high, whether it's low. It's for the future. So even with the government in controlling, trying to control the property prices, it's not going to go down. That's basically it. It's stabilizing. It will go up. And the best idea on this, the best part about this whole thing is you're purchasing an investment for life. This is going to be your largest possible asset.
I think people do make the mistake of jumping into real estate as an investment rather than just thinking, it's a home. We need a place to live, and it's going to be our place to live. I think the investment aspect of it is really almost an afterthought, or it's just a...
Seems like they think one or the other, right? Like, what can you tell us about that, David? Because it seems to me that some people are either looking for the investment or they're looking for the home, but they're not thinking about it as a future investment. So how do you counsel people?
Because of the all the immigrants, the immigration mentality which is here. Now, when someone comes from another country here, and I'm from another country as well, the first thing I think about is, when am I going to own a house? I'm going to save. I'm going to save for the down payment, and this is going to be my home. and this is going to, for the future, this is going to be for my kids as well. So the mentality is out there that this is part investment, majority is investment, and plus it's yours to keep, rather than renting a place or just doing shared accommodation. So this part about investment is true when it comes to the mindset which is here in Toronto. We buy, we invest for the future for our kids. It's not necessarily invest to sell, but invest for our kids, for our future kids. And they might sell, they might do what they feel like.
Now let's talk a little bit about your approach, right? Because you're in the business, right? And people who are watching this right now are getting to know you a little bit. You were mentioned before we came on that you have a little bit of a different approach than a lot of the real estate people that are out there. Do you want to talk about that?
Hit right on the spot. I see myself as a realtor. Of course, I am a realtor. I go out there. I go door knocking. I go door knocking. I meet with people. I'm a face-to-face kind of person. Now, there's no name pointing here, but we have high-profile realtors, and I understand they've been in the business for a long, long time.
The rock stars.
Right. The super rock stars.
Right.
We have all these billboards and bus signs and transit signs and et cetera. For me, it's more of a personal touch, meaning going out there, meeting with people, and showing them what I'm all about. For me, I have no assistants. I will not send out my assistant or my team member to go out there and say, hey, this is David-Gharat. We're going to list your home under the name of David-Gharat. No, David-Gharat is going to be there for you. Call me anytime. If you have questions, I'll share a few laughs with you. I'll go out there, meet with you.
So why do you do that, David? Is that because then you can have quality customer service all the way? Is it because you don't want to hand really important parts of doing the most for somebody who's buying a house? It's
like I said, it's a personal touch where I go out there, meaning it's for my satisfaction. It is for the satisfaction of my client, because the property which they are going to list with me or purchase with me is going to be their largest asset. Now, I like to be a part of their growth, even if they're downsizing or upgrading.
So you want them to have maximum customer care?
Maximum customer care. I'm always there. The questions they ask, I'm just a phone call away, or they can just call me over.
Right.
I am not going to have my assistant go out there and
put them on hold or in an hour or call you back and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, great.
So I'll be there for them. And that's the main part of even listing a home or selling a home. I'm a realtor. That's my job.
You know, I used to sell real estate too for a while, so I
was going to say that.
Experience.
Yeah, and my brother is in real estate. He has been in real estate for 30 years, and his son's got Calgary Real Estate Group in Alberta. So I want to ask this other question, if you don't mind, because I have been totally ignoring this whole real estate thing that my brother does and all that, and I don't really know anything about it. So okay, so we have two different reasons for buying a house, right? We have the investment and this is my home, I'm going to live here, this is what my kids are going to live in. And then how often do you sell a home when somebody is looking at home investment as a way to put your kids through school, or to start out with a small home and then maybe even rent it out or rent out part of it? And is this, what would you say about that? Is that a viable way for someone to go about having an investment that pays off in that way?
Investment always pays off, especially for a home. Now, there are investors who purchase just for pure investment. They flip, they buy, they sell. Now, there is the other individual who would buy, keep it for their kids. That's an investment. Then there are others who bought the place, it's all paid for. Now they don't need to downsize. So they are now going to remove their equity or the money line from their home and utilize it to even travel or invest it in someplace else and downsize. Now, so we have a variety of clients who go under the banner investment, but it is always going to be investment. It is always going to be a part where you can do something better with what you have right now.
Even if you don't treat it as an investment, that it is your home, there are so many benefits. Like the government, the policy, the tax policies are really all designed to help homeowners, right?
True,
right?
true.
You can't lose.
And there's so much going on. The first-time home buyer, if you have a RRSP, you can withdraw at least $25,000 from the RRSP for your down payment. You can utilize that towards down payment.
Right.
You got a rebate if you're a first-time home buyer.
What kind of homes are you selling right now? Do you sell small homes, big ones? Do you sell buildings? What?
Right now it's residential homes. An average price of the home right now in Toronto is $550, $600 going up, depending on the area as well. So I do mostly residential. I work with investors as well. I'm an investor myself. I have a couple of properties in Burlington. And so...
Do you have any white elephants, like fixer-uppers? Like, do you do that kind of stuff too?
Yes,
do you sell all
fixer-uppers,
kinds of real estate?
Everything. In fact, there's a fixer-upper coming right now, which is in 2 days.
Where is it?
In East York. Go for it.
Yeah, see,
Go
us
for
creative
it. It's a
people.
complete rebuild.
We want the white elephant.
Where in East York, though?
In East York,
like
Woodbine and O'Connor area.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, it's
on the way to Bartley.
Oh,
Yeah.
how are you going to help us finance it?
Yeah.
We'll get a finance guy to come out there, speak with you. As long as everything is okay from your side, your credits, go ahead and purchase it, rebuild it.
What do you mean you'll get a finance guy? See, I want to know how this is done. Okay, so I'm going to go buy a house. I'm like, okay, I want to fix her upper. I'm a creative person. I want to paint and stuff and do all that kind of stuff. And then now I want to finance. Now what happens? You send me a finance guy, and what happens?
Well, usually with the finance is, first and foremost is good credits, okay? A good down payment has to be there, especially if you're investing, depending what kind of financing you want it for.
Is that why a man was thinking about dating me, and he actually said a good credit rating is a must. I guess it all ties into...
How did that work out?
Well, I think no credit rating is a good credit rating, too. Right? No, it isn't. You have to build up a credit rating. If you don't have a credit rating, you can take out a small loan for like $1,000 and pay it back, and you can build yourself a credit rating.
But the bottom line here is, Lalo, is that after all this financing, even if you have to borrow or go through your RRSP, it is an investment. This is your money for the future. That is where it lies. It's regardless of if you're going to bring in the RSP, put it towards a down payment, in another 5 or 10 years, it's still yours.
Yeah, so obviously you think renting is pointless.
Anything. You're actually gaining right now.
But what I'm getting the sense is that regardless of whether, because when you're knocking on doors, you're going to encounter either sellers or buyers, right?
Yeah.
And do you have a preference? Who do you prefer to work with, the buyers or the sellers?
I prefer mostly the seller side. When I knock on doors, they're mostly sellers.
Yeah.
Now, they could be buyers looking to sell and then buy.
Right.
Or downsize.
That's true.
I've had a client recently who are actually they're looking to downsize and get themselves a condo. It's too big for them. They're downsizing. It gets to a point where big houses now, the maintenance comes into play.
Yeah.
So lots of homeowners are thinking of downsizing. Their kids have gone. They've gone to school. They bought other properties. So only 2 couple living in the house. 4-bedroom house. It's too much. It's too big.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like people. I'm just thinking about people who are watching this right now. Maybe they're just thinking, you want to live in a place that's suitable to you. It's like that Funky Town song. You got to live in a house that's right for you, right?
Yeah.
It is. But one thing, though, the home sellers have noticed that when it's an emotional connection they have. Because some of the homeowners, they've been living in the same house for 30-odd years, 30, 40, 50. I have a couple living in the house for 52 years.
Yeah.
And they finally it's a heartbreak when they've seen their kids grow up.
It's true.
Their grandkids grow up.
Because you get attached to the house, you get attached to the neighborhood,
Yeah.
right? And yet, those things change. I mean, I know the house I grew up in has been sold, and it's like, I just find it weird, right? Then they cut the big tree down, they build a garage.
Well, we can't be attached.
It's totally different.
I heard that was the first rule of real estate. I have another friend who's a real estate agent, and he says that that's what he tells to anybody who's buying, is to not get attached and to not have emotional attachments, because you and I guess that's where a real estate agent comes in, because then on the buyer's side of that emotional attachment, you can remind people of what the facts are about the home and what the long-term investment might be, instead of, I really want this house because it's blue.
Great point, Lalo. That's where the realtor comes in, and that's where the personal touch comes in. That's where that's where we are speaking about the personal touch, where I go in and I sit with them. I'm not only a realtor at that point, I'm a counselor as such. It's the reality of things. I go there, they trust me, they have to trust me and respect me, and they speak to me. And I had a client who came out to me, and we were sitting together for more than an hour trying to figure out where he's going to go and what he's going to do after he sells. So we had some options come in, maybe here, maybe there.
Wow.
And that's what's it called, a personal touch.
Yeah, I think
that is what it is.
I want to say this too. It's like sometimes people think that that it might be a good idea to skip getting a realtor on the case. Maybe they think, oh, we can save money if we sell privately. But I can tell you, David, from my own personal experience, I was involved in one of those private deals, and without that intermediary, the real estate person to kind of mediate between the two parties, there's so much that can go wrong. There's so much that can be miscommunicated, misunderstood. People get emotional about it, and you really do need someone to mediate, because it can go. I mean, our deal just about flew off the tracks so many times, and if we would have had a real estate person there, I know that it would have, especially a good one who can really sit down, like you say, right?
Somebody who cares enough about what's going on. It sounds like you do.
Oh, for sure. And you need someone at that point to negotiate, to show you the path where you're going, what the future holds after you do this. Like we spoke about financing.
Yeah,
that's one of the aspects.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not just selling a home. It's not just putting it up on the market. It's what you're going to do after. Where you're going to live. Where you're going to go. What you're going to do with the extra money. If it
you might need some bridge financing, right?
Bridge financing.
But David, would you do that if you came across somebody and you looked at their life and they were looking at a home that you thought they really couldn't afford? Would you tell them that?
Personally speaking, if I go out and speak with someone and they can't afford a home and their credits are bad, because it's not going to be a profitable thing for them for the future, I would just say hold on.
There's always something to do. There's always a strategy that they can adopt to get to their goal, right?
Exactly.
Whether they're where they think they are, really they're on the path already. It's just that you can help assess whether they're where they think they are, or maybe suggest some other strategies to get where they need to be.
Absolutely.
To achieve their goals.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And it's not all about buying and selling, and that's where I come in too. I speak with them. It's not all about sellers.
Yeah.
Some sellers think that the market is great, now I want to sell. But that's great, but what are we going to do after? Is there a game plan? Are we going to sit? Are we going to buy some other property? Are you going to invest that money?
Yeah.
Are you going to move away from Toronto or go to another place? Is it going to be okay for you to move to another place because you've been here for so long? So there are a lot of things involved here. It's not just buying or selling and just putting it up on the MLS for someone for showings. And a property can be sold. That's fine.
It's the most important decision that anybody will ever make in their lives, right?
Absolutely. And that's one of the largest, I should say, for most people, investment in your life.
Yeah,
in their lives.
So it's really important.
It's really, really important to show them the path, sit with them.
David, what do you think about staging? Because there's all this, I don't know, we didn't have staging when I was in the business. But
Good question.
What do you have to say about that?
Staging, from my side, it depends. It really, really depends. Okay, staging, for me, I like to give the ambiance of the natural home.
Yeah.
That's where I see. Because this is what's going to happen. I stage the home, for example. Okay?
Yeah.
It's going to look great. I model it completely. Then, when all the staging stuff has been removed, and when the buyer actually comes in at the last day of closing, when they get the keys and they want to move in, it's completely bare.
Yeah.
And then they say, what have I bought?
But I
Is
mean,
this what I really bought?
But that's the same even if you don't stage it and you just let the vendor leave the house as it is, right? It's still going to be empty on closing day, right?
Absolutely. But then you see the natural home of the previous owner.
Yeah.
Unless and until it's in a totally different state. And there are many homes out there who they're just immaculate.
Yeah.
I have a home up in Vaughan right now. It's immaculate. They've been living there for 28 years. It's beautiful inside.
Right.
It's
so
like
you
a
show
home
them
stage.
the home. You don't stage it and set somebody up to have a big disappointment. That's good.
But what does home staging do anyways? Because a home buyer is looking for the area, the convenience. They're buying homes where they're close to their work. It's the schools, places of probably worship, supermarkets, food, everything else. So home staging, does it really matter? I can say 50-50.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, with that answer, you're the perfect guy to talk about, to answer the question honestly. Should I stage it or should I not?
Yeah,
right? Depends.
exactly.
As you say, depends. You got to look at the home and make the best choice.
And make the best choice. My recommendation, depending on the home, of course, would be to leave it as is.
Yeah.
And of course, there are a few things to be done, meaning clean it, etc., etc. The lawn, the front lawn, the kitchen, keep it clean.
Yeah.
And show the real home.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
A staged home is a staged home. It is staged. That's what they say. It's staged. You're on a stage.
So you're going to give people the real
real stuff.
deal and the real
deal.
answers. That's excellent.
And that's also part of the consultation process where I sit with the client.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about it.
Right.
And it's not done over the phone. Or it's not done through a billboard.
Excellent.
So now we've put your phone number up here, and I guess that people who are watching this and they're resonating, whether they're buyers or sellers, right? Because I suspect you're happy to sit down with buyers, potential buyers, and help them get started all along the process.
Absolutely.
What else do you want to leave us with today in terms of just helping to show people what you're really all about?
What other kinds of things do you do besides sell real estate?
I'm an investor too, so if a client or a homeowner is looking to invest after selling, I can recommend, I can be there, I can consult. Also, I work with finance individuals who can finance for future and give them more ideas as well. And all this comes into play. Just speak with me, call me, and see what the options are, in fact.
Are you doing any community work, or is there anything else that you do here in Toronto?
Exactly. I do. Actually, I'm a volunteer I'm the committee member for the Brain Injury Society of Toronto. And we are fundraising now. That's the beauty part. And it's a privately funded association. So we are not government funded. It's all through us. So I'm putting it out there that we are having a golf tournament in June. And anyone out there is welcome to
How do they find out? How do we find out about that? So that's the Brain Surgery
Society of Toronto. It's called www.bist.com.
Great. Okay, well, that's neat. It's always good when you can give back a little something to the community, when you're doing really well, and it looks like you're doing really well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay, in fact.
Good.
It's just, it's not only as a parting statement, even though I'm a realtor, it's selling properties, it's the people business I love.
Yeah.
It's just being with people is just enormous.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's really great. I mean, because I remember selling a house and just seeing how happy the people were who found a home, and it was just such a great, it just felt great to be able to help a family get situated in a home, because that's the most important thing that.
It's the joy which comes with it. When especially with a first-time home buyer, when they, I was recently invited to a party. Just I know we are running out of time, but to a home warm up. What are they called? A home party? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a home
housewarming?
Housewarming party. Okay, and they're first-time home buyers, and said, "David, come on in. This is our first home," and that's the joy. Nothing can replace that for me. Nothing can replace that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, David. Well, been great to have this conversation.
Great.
Got your phone number up there, and plus the we have the website, which is what is it? House Condo Pro.
HouseCondoPro.com. That is my main website, and the other website is FindHomeEvaluation.com.
FindHomeEvaluation.com.
FindHomeEvaluation.com. Where if you want to log in there or visit that website, it gives you a free home evaluation.
I'm going to do that
while selling. And
okay, and we'll talk about that white elephant after the show.
And you're all over the GTA. Anywhere in the GTA?
Anywhere in the GTA. I focus mostly on East York, North York, Scarborough.
Yeah. Okay.
And some Pickering areas, but mostly in East York and North York.
All right.
Okay, David, great to see you again.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this today.
Great to be here.
Okay.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to take a little break. We've got music coming up here on Liquid Lunch, here on natchannel.com, so stay tuned.